How are you? What's up, Block Babes? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I know it's only been a couple hours, but Mama's back. I want to get into this Ashanti Strikes Back. Unless you've been under a rock or under the Kanye scandal, you probably don't even know that baby girl Ashanti struck back regarding Irv Gotti's very scathing information about their relationship. I'm going to get into that. I am going to go over the latest of Kanye, but I'm going to give it about 5 minutes because I got Kanye coming out my damn ears. I can't do no more Kanye, okay? I did two very, very dope shows about Kanye with an amazing panel with all kinds of opinions. So if you want to hear me talk about Kanye, check out my last two shows. They are absolutely amazing, if I do say so myself. Probably the best panels I've had and the best differing opinions I've had in a very long time on my channel. So, welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I am your favorite bad girl on the YouTube streets, Jen. Let's take care of a little business. You guys know you can follow me on the Block with Jen on TikTok, on Instagram. And if you want to email me, send me on the block with Jen at Gmail. On the Block with Jen at Gmail is not a dating app, okay? It is not where you come ask to marry me. I'm not interested. But if you want to collab with me, or you have a suggestion or a story I missed that you want me to dissect in the On the Block with Jen way, please hit me on the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to support the show, because yes, even Mama has to keep the lights on, just like the church, hit me a Cash App on the Block with Jen, or throw a super chat in the chat there for me. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Thank you very, very much. If you're catching the replay, you can't super chat me and you want to support the show, like, yo, she really dope, hit me at the Cash App scrolling at the bottom. Cash App is open 24 hours a day, okay? So I'll be asleep and I'll get your money. All right, guys. So welcome to my new subbies. How y'all doing? Buckle up. Keep it respectful in the chat. I do have some moderators in there, and if they catch you, they'll block you, and Mama's not going back into the block list to get you out. So let's all behave, right, and respect each other. I don't mind the yelling. I don't mind the cussing. I don't mind the going back and forth. But let's not get crazy, okay? So I want to go over just a couple of developments that I see on this whole Kanye West thing. This is not going to be a Kanye West show. As I said, the last two shows I did were on Kanye, and I had amazing panels joining me for those, all right? The only thing out of this whole scandal that's really bothered me for the first time about the Kanye scandal was I heard that his Donda Academy, which has athletes, they're teenagers, right? These kids have now been benched. They are not able to play in one of the biggest tournaments of their career. I'm talking about a tournament that Kobe played, okay? A tournament that Shaq played, a tournament that LeBron played, right? So these kids from the Donda Academy, Kanye West Donda Academy, can no longer play in that huge tournament. That is really the only thing that kind of jabbed me in the heart, because these kids have been working their whole little lives to play this tournament, and now they are benched due to the anti-Semitic remarks that Kanye has been making. The kids cannot play. I don't know about you, but if I was one of the parents of those kids, I would be raising hell in hot water right now. It's really messed up that they got benched because of something that Kanye said or did. It's really, really fucked up. And I think that's the only thing that's really struck me with this whole thing. It's like, look, Kanye's going to be all right. He's wealthy. His own children are going to be all right. They're wealthy. But this is really messed up because this is something that these kids really, really worked hard for. And now they're benched. Now they can't play in the tournament. That's a huge tournament. I would like to see that get turned around because these kids deserve to play in that tournament. But no, they are benched, and it's because of what Kanye did, which also brings up another interesting topic. You have to be careful about the ripple effect of what you do when you are, you know what I mean, the head king in charge of a lot of other people. See, Kanye probably wasn't thinking, I'm gonna go and, you know, cause this big stink with the Jews and Jewish media, and it's not gonna affect the rest of my world, which is, I think, is fucking asinine and hilarious that people have the nerve to say this was all part of his plan. I don't think that Kanye planned for these kids to get benched, okay? It was no fucking plan. Kanye's plan was, I'm going to say what the fuck I want about some people that rub me the wrong way in business, and everybody's going to listen to me because I'm Kanye West. He did not expect the fallout from this. I don't care what any of you say this was not a fucking plan. Okay, this was Kanye being Kanye, and it backfired in the very, very worst way. So the only thing, again, that I felt bad about was these kids being benched. They also said that his anti-Semitic remarks and his craziness and his threatening Pete Davidson, the guy who was smashing Kim Kardashian most recently, is going to result in, problems for his custody battle, for his kids that he shares with Kim Kardashian. I'm not worried about that. Them kids are billionaires. They will be okay. He'll get to see them. He'll probably get to see them, supervised visits. Which I think is just because Kanye's acting like a complete buffoon, and we don't know how, how touched he is, right? He's threatening Pete Davidson. He's threatening his wife. He's threatened the Jewish community. So we really don't know. We can all laugh at it and be like, that's just Kanye being Kanye. But you have to worry about those children, because he's not only posing a danger to himself, but if his children are going to be in his environment, they probably also will be in danger. And now that's going to mean that he needs supervised visits. But I'm not worried about his kids. They got nannies up the ass. They got a lot of money. They got more money than a little bit to get therapy should they need it. His kids will be okay. I feel bad for the kids that were benched and cannot play in this tournament. So that's the update for Kanye. I don't really want to stay on him too long. A couple of people have asked, where's Candace Owens? Where's Candace Owens? She's quiet. She's quiet. That is not true. Candace Owens is still popping off at the mouth. She threatened Adidas and said they can let go. They can let go of whoever they feel like, but they better pay Kanye or else. They can't sell his shoes without him. And as you guys know, Adidas kicked Kanye to the curb, but they own the designs. They own the Yeezy designs, and they already released a statement and said, we will continue selling his damn sneaker because we own it without him. So Candace Owens clapped back to Adidas and said, you gonna pay. Candace Owens also made fun of the George Floyd family regarding their lawsuit versus Kanye West. And she said that she's gonna sue them now. Now, was she just kidding? Was it tongue in cheek? Was it sarcasm? She said that, the lawsuit against Kanye West via the George Floyd family is frivolous. And she says, since frivolous lawsuits are okay in this country, then I have every right to sue the George Floyd family because they are causing me distress. Now, of course, she was probably playing and just being a bitch, but I think it was some cold shit, right? I think Candace Owens, like everybody else, is right twice a day. But I think that was some really cold shit, because whether or not George Floyd was close to his family, he had family members that loved him and are suffering his loss, mourning his loss. We all got to see that horrific murder. And I think, sometimes you do too much and you say too much, even though people think you're funny. And Candace and Kanye are both right now under that category where you said too fucking much. And I think what Candace Owens said, it wasn't funny. I understand she wants to cape for her boy because she wants her boy's money. But I think it went too far. I think it was fucked up to make fun of the George Floyd family and say, I'm going to sue y'all too because I'm under distress because you guys keep lying about George Floyd's murder and how he died, right? That was fucked up, but that's what people do. The more controversial they are, the more clicks they get. I still think it's fucked up. But that's the update for Candace Owens and Kanye West. Again, I don't want to stay on them. I'm Kanye'd out. In happy news, FUBU has collabed with Wakanda Forever. Okay. As you guys know, Wakanda Forever is coming soon. I believe it drops in November. And FUBU has collabed with Wakanda for apparel. And I think they already are. I think they already released some apparel, some Wakanda FUBU apparel that looks really, really dope if you guys haven't seen it yet. And I find it interesting. Someone had mentioned it's interesting how FUBU collabed with the studios that are putting out Wakanda Forever and Black Panther and what have you. And Kanye West has never collabed with a Black, label that way, right? Kanye could do whatever the fuck he wants to do and collab with whoever. But it's interesting that, now he's playing his little, his us and the people and we the people and I am the people in his little Ari Emanuel apology. But you know, he's never collabed with something as dope as Fubu that was created by 4 Black men and is a staple in our, you know what I mean, pop culture and our community and hip hop. You know, Kanye never collabed with them, and you would think that would be the go-to because Fubu is so damned established, right? But no, it didn't happen. Kanye's all about Ralph Lauren and Balenciaga and, you know, Karl Lagerfeld and shit like that. We already know that, right? So I thought that was great news that Fubu was collabing with them, and they got some really cute shirts and things like that. You guys need to check those out. If you are gonna get Wakanda t-shirts and whatever, you might as well get the Fubu collab, right? Right? Because we support our own people. That's the idea, right? So that was good news. But the subject is still Ashanti Strikes Back. I don't know if you guys saw, I threw it in my community section, Ashanti's interview with Angie Martinez. It was very, very, very interesting. Okay. Ashanti's coming out of her little good girl shell. But she still, you know, she threw her little jabs, but still kept her, you know, I mean, her decorum and her, you know, I'm innocent little Ashanti and I don't want no problems and I'm positive vibes and crystals. But I'm gonna tell you, this motherfucker wasn't shit, right? Basically. But she did a great job at keeping her composure and keeping her innocence. You know, the Ashanti we all love, baby, baby, baby. She did a great job doing that. With Angie Martinez, but you can tell that she came out swinging, right? She was just swinging when nobody was looking. So that's the deal with that. And I want to get into that. And then I'm going to ask you a question about fair exchange ain't no robbery regarding men or women. And you guys tell me what you think. Yeah. Yeah. What's up to everybody in the chat? You know how it is. When I'm on here, people get to texting. All right, guys, I'm going to drop the link early if you guys want to come up and discuss this. I have a different take for the Irv Gotti Ashanti beef, okay? You may like it, you may not, but I do want you to stick around with me. Come up if you like, or I'll just talk at you. If you want to talk with me, come up on the panel. Thank you, Get Money Dre. Please hit that like button and that subscribe if you just scrolled on by to catch me. Subscribe, you're going to like this channel. DJ Razor says, as a man, I would feel some type of way if my ex immediately started dating a dude like Pete Davidson after we just broke up. That would be straight up cold blooded. DJ Razor, I don't think she started dating him right after they broke up. I think their marriage was strained for a while, honestly. And then she was just like, whatever, here I am with this new guy. But, you know, in Hollywood, things move a lot faster than they do for us. In the real world. In Hollywood, things move a lot faster because those people are always around celebrities and other people and at the parties and at the shindigs. So they're always in that dating pool. And then if they're single and done with this relationship, they're monkey barring into the next relationship. And I think that's what happened there with Pete Davidson. You know, it's whatever. No Saint, yes, I am putting in work this week. I need to catch up. All Star for real. I need to get my Wakanda Black Panther shirt as well. Okay, okay. Oh, did I say collapsed? Sorry, I meant collabed. You know I talk fast. DJ Razor says Fubu, so Kanye West is about to rebrand Payless shoe stores. Hola, Scott and Co. Travels. What's up, Maddie? On your knees. What's up, Bikini Star? Yeah, come on back after the game. All right, guys. So, oh shit. Striker Bud said the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. I've heard that. Doesn't always work. So I'm gonna drop the link in case you want to come up after you hear what I got to say about this Ashanti Irv Gotti beef. Okay, so as you guys know, Irv Gotti, like all these celebrities do, had a documentary series coming up. So he had to do the press tour, right? And when these celebrities go on these press tours, they have to be as incendiary and shocking as possible, which is going to make you watch whatever it is they're pitching, right? So they'll go on these shows, Drink Champs and what have you, and start talking about the ins and outs of their lives and who they were with, specifically who they were fucking. And if who they were fucking with somebody famous, famous, then it's even more interesting for us, right? It's like, oh, I want to hear about, if they were fucking the male clerk or the girl that works as a waitress, nobody knows, nobody really cares. But when Irv Gotti goes on a press tour talking about he fucked Ashanti, everybody wants to know what it was like to fuck Ashanti, right? It becomes juicy. The problem with Irv Gotti was that he was very bitter about the breakup, and I'm going to elaborate on that breakup. Irv Gotti was very bitter about the separation in the situationship with Ashanti. So he went on his little tour, and throwing her under the bus, calling her disloyal, saying all kinds of shit about her, just making her look like some nasty, slutty, disloyal bitch on a stick who didn't have no talent. And if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't be nowhere, right? Irv Gotti was doing that. And in between, he was talking about the documentary he had coming up, right? Now, of course, he's going to mention Ashanti because Ashanti is famous as well, and it makes it more juicy. Now, Ashanti has been quiet for many, many, many years, though Irv Gotti has thrown her under the bus repeatedly, right? He's thrown her under the bus repeatedly. So finally, I guess somebody got in Ashanti's little innocent ear, and we're like, don't be a dumb bitch. He's promoting his programs with your sex life. You need to get on out there and promote what you got coming up with whatever it is you say happened on your side. So finally, Ashanti broke her silence. And she's talking about their situationship. Now, what makes her interview, and again, it's in my community tab, what makes her interview even worse than Irv Gotti and what Irv Gotti was doing was that Irv Gotti came off as somebody bitter, right? He wasn't just explaining, hey, I was in a relationship with Ashanti, and this is what happened. No, she's disloyal. And if it wasn't for me, X, Y, and Z. But he came off as a bitter person, while Ashanti very calmly and cutely was like, hey, it was never a relationship. I don't know what he's talking about. Basically, they were fucking. She was fucking him. Now, whether you want to say she was fucking him for a come up or not, that's a different story, right? Because we have the fair exchange ain't no robbery, right? We have that. And I have a show that I did very recently where I said women want money and security and men want ass. Okay, it's an amazing, amazing stream. You have to see how I break down relationships between men and women. Women want security and money, and men want ass. Now, we dress it up in a pretty bow and we call it marriage sometimes. We dress it up in a pretty bow and we call it boyfriend and girlfriend sometimes. We dress it up in a pretty bow and we call it partnership sometimes. But what it really is women wanting security and money and men wanting ass. So when we put that on top of this thing that Ashanti and Irv Gotti had, right? Obviously, Ashanti wanted money and security, and Irv Gotti wanted her ass. You see how simple life is? We complicate it, do we not? But do you think Ashanti wanted marriage? Do you think Irv Gotti wanted marriage? He couldn't have possibly because he was already married, right? So he saw Ashanti and wanted that ass. And Ashanti saw Irv Gotti, the owner of a label with lots of this, and she said, I want security and money. And that's how men and women usually collide. Okay. So Ashanti in the interview is very plainly saying, I don't know where he got this relationship from. Like, yeah, we messed around, but in his head, he's created this whole relationship. And he's telling the world it was a relationship. And now you have the woman on the other end making you look like a bitch on a stick because the woman is saying, I was never in a relationship with that dude. He had a lot of girlfriends and he had a wife. So again, it goes back to Ashanti wanted security and money, and Irv Gotti wanted that ass, right? Now, we can both say they got what they wanted. Irv got in that ass, and Ashanti got her money and her security. So years later, Irv Gotti is just using their little situationship to sell his documentary. And honestly, I'm glad to see that Ashanti, someone kicked her in the ass and was like, cut the innocent schoolgirl act. Get on out there, open your fucking mouth, and start selling your product as well. Because Irv Gotti is selling his product with your ass, basically. We're basically saying that he was up in your ass. That is how he's selling the whole Murder Inc. documentary. So you're still sitting back like, no, nothing. I was loyal and I love Murder Inc. and Ja Rule is my brother, and that doesn't sell records, does it? That doesn't sell records. So I guess someone got in her ass and was like, get on out there and you open your mouth and sell your shit. If you don't believe me, watch the interview. She literally says, after this, my single is available. Finally, the girl's getting smart, right? So during the Angie Martinez interview, what does she say? After she makes Irv Gotti look like a bitch on a stick who was stalking her and on her ass all these 20 some odd years. By the way, my single is available right after this interview. Smart girl, Ashanti, smart girl. About fucking time. Smart, finally. So I guess her single is available. I'm not gonna give a damn about it. I like her hits and barely that, but they're nostalgic for when we were all growing up, depending what age we all are in this room. The music is nostalgic. The whole Murder Inc. camp is nostalgic. Am I running out to get her latest song? Absolutely fucking not. I don't even care what it is. She's not one of my favorite voices in the world, but I did like the whole Murder Inc. empire. It was very interesting also to hear, like there were parts where I felt sorry for her during that interview because she did say, Irv used manipulation tactics and she was very young. And he was saying, nobody's going to want you, can't really sing. I'm the one that made you fuckable. You ain't nobody without me. That manipulation shit. When you leave here, if you leave here, you ain't taking nothing with you. He gave her the Ike Turner, basically. He gave her the Ike Turner, like, eat the fucking cake. You know what I'm saying? He was like, if you leave here, you ain't gonna have nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. Whoever fucks with you ain't fucking with us. And he was threatening people, according to Ashanti. He was threatening people, saying that whoever she messes with, she was like, she completely gave it all. Okay. She was like that. She was getting death threats, and Angie Martinez was like, what? He threatened you with death? And Ashanti was like, not me, but the people I was with. He was like, yo, if that dude keeps doing that, then I'm a X, Y, and Z. And she did say it was a death threat. She also said that Irv wishes her dead. And Angie was like, no, get out of here, kidding. And she doubled down. She said, no, I sincerely, absolutely think that Irv Gotti wishes me dead. Those were her words. So it's some serious shit. But then she also says that she don't know where this Gotti persona came from because Irv Gotti is basically a wankster. Okay, for lack of a better term. She basically said that Clarence's parents had a very good marriage, like in 8 Mile. Remember that line? She said Irv Gotti comes from a very good home, a loving family. So she doesn't understand where the persona came from, the Irv Gotti persona. But the gangster persona in hip hop is par for the course. All these motherfuckers wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight, but they're all killers on their tracks, right? They're all pushing weight and pulling weight like Pablo Escobar, and they all got the big guns. That's synonymous with hip hop. Being a gangster is synonymous with hip hop. So if she doesn't know where it came from, welcome to hip hop. What the fuck you mean you don't know where it came from? All rappers pull that shit. Very rarely do I think is there a real G in hip hop that actually, got murder under his belt and kilos that he was, pushing, overseas and through the waters and the airplanes. Very, very rarely. I can look at, pudgy guy, Irv Gotti, and see that he's not a G. You can see it's an act and he talks loud and there's a certain way, Todd, or that. We can see it. Anybody with half a brain can see it. I don't know anybody who actually thought Irv Gotti was a gangster like that. But if you did, according to Ashanti, he's a wankster, and she doesn't understand where that persona is coming from because, again, great family background, parents were good, family loves them. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know where he got it from. Maybe he saw Godfather and was like, yeah, that's it. Or maybe he followed John Gotti and was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna be. That's where the persona usually comes from, right? The more dangerous you appear as a record label owner or as an artist, the more records you sell, right? So that's where it came from. I was surprised though that she was throwing that many jabs at him because she's always been one. I'm taking the high road, and but you have to get with the times. And now, since this industry is like highway traffic and the scandals go so fast, like nobody even knows that Ashanti did this interview because Kanye's been on everybody's lips and everybody's post and on everybody's channels and streams, right? So it moves really fast. So if Ashanti or the other little, I'm innocent, I'm from the 90s, like all them girls, all them guys, now you got to come with it. You have to evolve with the business. Now, if you don't have a scandal attached to your fucking name, you ain't nobody out here. Nobody gives a fuck about the album you're dropping. Who are you fucking? Who said they fucked you? How many times did y'all fuck? Did you use a vibrator? Who did you rob and steal from? Who cheated on you? Who did you cheat on? When did you get the new ass? Are those titties real? I heard you wore a wig for 5 years. Like, unless you have a scandal attached to your name in this current environment of the entertainment industry, nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. So it's interesting that Ashanti has now evolved with the times, and now she's opening her mouth and doing, revealing all the pillow talk, giving you a little bit and taking it away. I do give her credit for doing the burlesque, right? Giving you a little and then taking it away. Like he wasn't shit. He's a wankster. He's a manipulator. He wished people dead. He threatened people with death. But I don't like talking bad about people. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. So, she gave you a little burlesque. She gave you a little bit and then took it away. That's the way to do it when you're a lady, right? Give a little and take it away. But, she smartened up. If you're going to be in this business and you have a guy telling everybody on podcasts every which way he fucked you and you're disloyal, you better clap back. You better clap back, right? Evolve or evaporate. So good for her. Good for her. Fair exchange ain't no robbery until somebody feels robbed. What do you think about that? Block babes. Fair exchange ain't no robbery until somebody feels robbed. So I expect Irv Gotti and Irv Gotti fashion and publicity fashion. I guarantee he's going to clap back, because if he claps back, then it's more press for his documentary series. Now, I didn't watch the Murder Inc. documentary series. If you guys did in the chat, let me know. I didn't see it. I'll be completely honest. I'm not interested in seeing it. I don't really care about the ins and outs of Murder Inc. I don't think they're that interesting, characters where it's like, oh, I want to know what happened behind the scenes with Ja Rule. Like, I don't give a fuck about that camp. I like some of their music, but they're not interesting to me enough for me to watch the docuseries. And not only that, but I've seen Ja Rule and I've seen Irv Gotti on reality shows. They're not that interesting. Irv Gotti is a child. He's like a man child. You guys know I don't like men that act like that. And Ja Rule is okay. He has a cute family. But just not something where it's like, oh, I gotta sit and watch this Murder Inc. thing and what happened behind the scenes during the case. Of course, Irv Gotti is a liar. When he went on Drink Champ saying that Ashanti never was around for the court proceedings, and then there's pictures of Ashanti at the fucking court proceedings, you know what I mean? And Ashanti saying I was on set of a movie and I left that set and I wasn't supposed to be at this court proceeding. And there's pictures of her in the court walking with the Murder Inc. camp. It's kind of stupid for Irv Gotti to say she wasn't at the court, she wasn't down with us, she's disloyal. And then it's like, so what's this picture here? Who is this lady standing next to you, idiot? Like, who is she, right? So that just makes him look like a bold-faced, fucking habitual, compulsive fucking liar. But I don't expect much from Irv Gotti. I'm not expecting Obama behavior from Irv Gotti. So I don't think it's a big deal. Again, par for the course. It sells views, I guess. It makes the Murder Inc. doc series interesting. It may sell Ashanti's latest single if you guys are interested. I haven't heard it. I just know that she said it's available after she dropped everything that she dropped about Irv Gotti. Do you think that, because Ashanti made a lot of mention of she was manipulated by Irv Gotti. She was talked down to. She felt trapped. It was some financial abuse because he told her, if you leave, you're not taking anything with you. If you leave Murder Inc., you're not taking anything with you. But we don't want you here. Go sign with, Dirty with Nelly, because she started fucking Nelly after Irv Gotti, right? So Irv Gotti was basically like, okay, you fucking him now. He did the bitch shit. He was like, you fucking him now, then go sign with him, right? He did that bitter baby mama shit. Oh, you ain't gonna be with me? Well, I don't want you with the kid. Like, that type of thing. Do you think that Ashanti really got what she wanted? Because it sounds to me like she didn't really like Irv Gotti. And we all, first of all, Irv Gotti's not a looker to begin with, but the way he looked back then was even worse, right? But she laid under him, mi gente. She laid under him. She crawled on top of him and she laid under him. Ashanti laid under him, whether she liked it or not, whether she's calling it wasn't a relationship or not. Her legs opened up, right? So, did they not both get what they wanted out of what I always say? Women want money and security, men want ass. Did they not both get it? Why in 2022, 20 years later, are they fighting about this? Who's the bitter one? I don't know about you, but it's always Irv on the Ashanti Left Us tour. But to me, fair exchange ain't no robbery. You had a wife, you had a bunch of girlfriends and groupies. I'm thinking it's just the one that got away, kind of, sort of. But Ashanti sounded to me like she wasn't really into him physically or mentally, although she thanks Murder Inc. for giving her the exposure, the fame, right? The notoriety. She made it sound like, she had to have sex with Penguin from Batman, right? But if you're going into something like, I want security and money, sucks to be you. Sometimes the other guy on the side of that, contract looks like an Irv Gotti. So do you think now it's sour grapes? Like it was good while he was sweating on you back in the 90s. It was good while he was sweating on you because you were putting out these hit records, but now it's like, ew. And I get it, because going from Irv Gotti to Nelly is like, whoa, right? Is she having regrets that she had to lay with her Irv Gotti to get to the notoriety point to get a Nelly? Levels. Levels. Has she not laid under Irv Gotti? Would she have gotten famous enough for a Nelly to notice her? Probably not. Probably not. Let's keep it 100 on the block. Probably not. So it's level. Should she be grateful to Irv Gotti, right? For making a Nelly notice her? Why are they still arguing about this 20 years later? Somebody help me out. So guys, you could come up if you want. If not, I'm gonna keep talking at you, which I don't have a problem with. But you guys can come up. I know No Saint says something, but Ashanti opened up like a 2 bob slag. Lord, I don't even want. Do I want to know what a slag is? Do I want to know what a slag is? Yes, he is catchy shrapnel. We love some Danny DeVito though. Thank you. Chiali or Chili. How do you pronounce that? DJ Razor watching the game. Oh, that's why it's quiet on the block. It's a football going on. I see you. I see you. Oh, okay. Parnell, it was pretty good. I didn't get much new information though. Wait a minute, Parnell. You watched the Angie Martinez Ashanti interview and didn't get new information? She said stuff that we never heard before. DJ Razor said Irv Gotti, aka the wannabe bootleg version of Suge Knight, alongside the cheap imitation version of Tupac, aka Ja Rule. Damn. Damn. Okay, guys, I'm looking through the chat. No, Saint, I threw the link down. No, I didn't. I thought I did. I threw the link down, guys. No, Saint said it's almost halftime. I'm not gonna talk long because I'm not gonna be talking at y'all while y'all trying to watch football and watch me at the same time. I threw it down one more time. But that's what I have for y'all today as I drink down this freaking cement, aka my protein shake. Speaking of football, Aaron Donald and Jaylen Brown, who was part of the sports agency that Kanye West owned. I know you guys probably know by now, but they quit the sports agency. So that's another loss for Kanye. That's another loss for Kanye. I'm sure he's going to lose a lot of money behind that. And you guys don't know, I don't know shit about sports, but according to all the fellas, those are like very, very two big names in sports that Kanye had on his roster. And now they were gone. Of course, Antonio Brown is caping for Kanye because Antonio Brown is just as fucking batshit. And he was like, it's part of groupthink why they left, and people are taking what Kanye said out of context. So Antonio Brown, of course, is supporting Kanye West all the way. Do you guys think that those athletes should have left, or it's just fucking business and they're not going to let Kanye mess with their money or their business? I think it's the latter. I think everybody has to look out for themselves, honestly. And if somebody's, it's one thing if you didn't do it, but if somebody's fucking up on purpose and doubling down and messing with your money in your pockets, and you have a lot of people you're taking care of, which is usually the case with these athletes, they're usually taking care of their entire family, their children, their wife, everybody's counting on them. And I think that's why athletes move different. When, there is a scandal, they're like, peace, I'm out. I'm taking care of too many fucking people to play this game with you. So I don't blame Aaron Donald and Jaylen Brown for saying, I'm out. I got too much shit that I'm taking care of. And we see what happened with Kanye, the ripple effect. Like now, Donda Academy, that's dead. The football players left. All the people he was affiliated with left. The labels left. Gap and Adidas and Balenciaga. Like there's a ripple effect. And that affects Kanye's pockets. And maybe the athletes were like, you're not going to affect my pockets. You're not worth it. I got to continue taking care of my family, which I understand. And a side note to that, I think it's sad when that one person makes it in the family and everybody has their hand out. I don't understand why they don't go to that person and say, hey, how can I help you? Can you employ me somehow? Can you put me, throw me in, put me in, coach, put me in. I'm not big on giving people money. Give them a job, create something where they can, reciprocate the usefulness of their presence, not just like, hey, I need this or I need that. Like if I'm asking for favors or anybody else is asking for favors, it should be a thing where it's like, this favor is going to put me in a position. So if you need something from me, I can give it to you. I don't understand why people think people with money just like can give you money. If I'm asking for a favor, it's because when I'm in a certain position in a certain other arena, you may need that favor from over here. And that's when it makes sense to put people on. So I understand why they jump ship. What's up, No Say? How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing? I figure I'd get on here. It's halftime.
That's why nobody's loving on me today. Because football on, damn it.
I thought you would have some people in here though. Like I was saying, Tony from the UK or somebody, but
everybody's watching that godforsaken football. How long is this season gonna fucking
happen? You got until close to February before it's totally over. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me what time it starts so I don't like clash with the
Oh,
time.
it's only on Thursday. It starts at like 5 o'clock your time.
Oh, you need to
Yeah.
do that.
But to be honest with you, it's on Amazon Prime, which I wouldn't be. I remember when it was first on it. Like this is the first year it's on Amazon. So
Okay.
when it was first on, I was like, I'm not paying Amazon Prime to watch a game. And then I found out I was already paying for Amazon Prime, so then I was like, I might as well watch it.
Hate that.
But anyway, no. Hopefully we get.
Now I know because I'm like it's so quiet. Even on Facebook, it's like quiet. I'm like, where the hell did everybody go? It's like an episode of Twilight Zone.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And even on YouTube, like all the different live streams I normally watch, it's quiet, but I don't think it's totally. I don't know what Big Truck's doing. Some of the regulars, but
everybody's doing that. Ball. Well, say it's like I'll fucking come up. I don't know who this Ashanti person is, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, and then I looked him up. I looked up Irv Gotti. I should know who that is. Like that's my generation basically.
Yes, Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, Ashanti, that whole camp, Charlie.
Well, I mean, I've heard, at least I've heard. Well, I mean, I've heard of Irv Gotti too, but like not like Ja Rule. Like I couldn't tell you. I didn't realize. I was reading up on his bio or whatever, and you were saying that he wasn't that great looking when he was young, so I wanted to see who we were talking about. But guy, that's the thing, and a lot of the stuff you're saying is true. And of course, you were mentioning, guys want the booty and girls want the security, and I think overall that I wanted to hold up the sign, some not all type thing. I mean, but there's some truth to it.
It's
because
the core of it, no Saint.
For sure. For sure.
When we get past the attraction, it's like, can this guy provide the security?
Yes. Right? Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, when Erica and I will talk about when we first met each other and everything, and both of us kind of had similar approaches. I was like, okay, is she going to be a good mother? Well, I knew she was going to be a good mother. That was big on my list, though. I wanted a family. She wanted a family, and she was the same way. Is he going to be a good dad? And but yeah, and being a good father comes with being able to provide for your kids. So I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's not romantic, right. But we got to get out of these movie fairy tales. And I've said that a long time ago. I used to think that a lot of the times we tend to point the finger at the other sex. So in my younger days, hold on a second. Okay. I just had a call come in. Sorry. I was just, I had to decline it. So in my younger days, it was all like, women need to stop thinking that, some Prince Charming is going to come along and because I thought like TV and movies were ruining relationships because no man could match up to that person on the video.
You can't be Ryan Gosling. You can't be Ryan Gosling.
Right. Like I'm thinking to myself, it for a while. I mean, I grew out of you start to, but at one point I was getting a little like I get irritated at certain things. Like, man, this like you'd hear buy the 2-carat diamond, make her. I'm like, make her happy, and I was just like, you people are setting us up, man. but no, it's so what you're saying is more honest. It's just not. It's not what younger people like to hear, but it's honest. She, I'm looking at him now. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a monster by any stretch of the imagination. He's not, but he's no,
well, I'm comparing him to Nelly.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. No doubt. No, now, I do know, obviously I know who Nelly is, and right. I know women tend to like his look. So he's kind of a good looking chap, Yeah. So yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're just going off of looks, but that's the thing. I mean, if guys are lucky, especially guys like me. We're lucky girls just don't go straight off looks.
Right. We don't. We don't. I want to find it's where is it? Where is it? There's one picture in particular that this picture here is like, girl, was this when you were like smashing? Like this picture here in particular.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw that one.
Ew, right? But in her defense, we all have one of those.
Right.
Or two, right? We all have one or two of those guys, right? You know, but you were saying, sorry, I interrupted.
No. I'm just saying, you know, so I've heard you quite a few times on a subject like this where you're, you know, saying that women are looking for, and I've, you know, and it's true. Women have, and anytime you know, men have a hard time understanding women because you'll be going out with a woman and, you know, having fun and everything. And then like 2 months later, she's breaking up and she's explaining to you the different reasons why. And you're like, God, like there's a notebook of things that she's looking for. And she's checking as she's going out with you. She's like, no.
Yes, you just described it perfectly. I always say I start out at 100%. The battery's at 100%. When I meet a guy that I'm attracted to, I'm like, okay, let's start dating, right? And then it's up to him whether it stays at that 100 or starts going 99. I'm like, oh, he said that thing, 98. Oh, he kind of has a gut. Okay. Oh, he's too much into sports.
Right.
90. Oh, he doesn't go to the gym. 90. Right? So it's like it just starts going down, right? But I think you just stand a better chance if you're out. I think relationships have a better chance when it's just a fair exchange, no robbery. This is what I want. Do you have what I want? And vice versa. Because when you look at it, but you know, and I don't want to get too deep into this because I have already, but when you look at 75 to 80% of the divorces are filed by women, right? Then what the fuck were you there for? You weren't there for love. It couldn't have possibly been love because love would have kept you there. So there were a lot of other factors that you wanted within that relationship beyond love. Because if it was about love, love will keep you there. Love will keep you there. Good, bad, and like the vows, you know, good, bad, sickness, and in health and blood will keep you there. But obviously you wanted something way, way bigger than that love thing. You wanted money, or you wanted someone who was more spontaneous, or someone who could have sex better. There's so many other factors beyond the love, but unfortunately, the love is pushed tenfold. And the love is pushed tenfold with the diamond, right?
Yeah.
With the forever. And it's pushed that way. So women are thinking, oh, well, he got me a diamond worth 2 months of salary plus a week of blah. Looks like loved me. And that's not what it is. That's
and you know, especially young love, it's much more, it's yeah, and we all talked about this before. It's much more it changes, right? I mean, there's no way you're going to keep up the initial when you meet somebody, you know, first year, second year, even in marriage, you know, the first year to the 10th year is just different. And that's why that's hard for people. I think I don't know, maybe people do know that happens, but it really seems like people are always looking for that. People are always looking for that initial, you know, and so that's why you'll find people having affairs, because you get that same kind of feeling again. Oh, I've never, when I was having trouble with, we were having some trouble, and we were going through a little spot or whatever. And I, you know, I was like, all right, you know, we talking, okay, let's just separate for a while. And that means you can talk to whoever you want to talk to. And so I was talking to my first love. And man, I knew what was going on in my head. I was like, God, those chemicals are flowing because we're talking about stuff. And but I know I mean, not smart enough. I just know. I was like, okay, I know what's going on. This isn't real.
You're
You know what I
smart.
mean?
So fucking smart to catch that, because some people, it's almost like a high. It's like some people
It
get
is.
high, take them, but some people are like, no, I'm high right now. I'm gonna be sober tomorrow. Don't do it. I'm just high right now. Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Hey,
smart, smart.
and and that just comes with experience. So it comes with experience of knowing, like, yeah, if I were to, let's just say I were to come home and say, okay, let's go ahead and sign these papers or whatever, and I'm going to go to this chick, I knew, like, okay, there's still problems over there. It's not like eventually you're gonna run into problems. It's not like this is something that's sustainable. So is it worth it? Is it worth giving up what, like they say, the looks greener on the other side sometimes. But
Right. I really think that I think vows are stupid. I think that they have to change vows for
yeah,
marriage. The shit that they say, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like in sickness and in health, for richer, for poor. No, when people are poor, they turn you off. It's it's not realistic. In sickness and in health, when people get fat, they turn you off. They turn you off, right? You have to present other things like, yo, do you promise to always fucking tell me the truth about how you're feeling about this
yeah,
relationship? I do. That's a vow.
that's a good one too.
That's a fucking vow. You know what I'm saying? Do you
Yeah,
promise to understand if your life changes or your feelings change? Or do you promise to understand that I may want to separate from this? Do you promise to understand me in that way? That's a vow. Right? That's a vow. So the vows and the fairy tale are just horrible. And I gotta say, going back to Ashanti, women want security and money so much so that if she knew Irv Gotti back then and she knew Nelly, and Nelly was not famous Nelly, Nelly was the guy that worked in the mailroom at Murder Inc. Okay. She would have still chose Irv Gotti. She would have still chose Irv Gotti. Because Nelly in the mailroom isn't as attractive as Nelly. But women want security and money so bad. She would have chose Irv Gotti because it's better to be on the arm of Irv Gotti and be the first lady of Murder Inc. than it is to be mailing, smashing the cute guy in the mailroom. That's just light.
yeah, and I'm not so sure that if it were more acceptable, guys wouldn't do the same thing. If it was more like on the even thing, like you can have this woman and it was an acceptable in society. Most women marry up. So, but if it wasn't, if it was just like, and there are some rich women that go with younger guys who don't have the means that they do. There are those relationships, but I'm not so sure guys wouldn't do. I'm pretty sure guys would do the same thing.
Do
They would pick the less attractive, wealthier woman over the woman working at I don't know, the gym or something like that. The Burger King.
I think they would. I think they would try to smash the girl at the gym.
Yes.
But they're keeping the wife, you know what I mean? That they can go, halvesies on the new Mercedes. Right?
Yeah. Right.
You know?
That's why I like, and I just think that, you and some of the people on the panel that are a little bit more seasoned understand that more than someone who's like, because I remember when I was like a teenage, 18, 20, and I was all about finding the right one, and the romantic relationship and all that stuff. And I mean it you'll be disappointed if if that's what you think it's going to be about. And there's exceptions. There's always exceptions, but like we were saying last time, I think people that see those relationships that last so long don't they think it's great, but it wasn't. The relationship had rocks. It was a rocky road. It wasn't, that those people married for 70 years. There was some skeletons going on there. I mean, but
that's
but
why I try to warn like the younger people, because you're right, you have to be seasoned and lived and experienced. But I was young before, and I was like, I want the fairy tale and the white dress. And I used to look through the magazines and I'm like, I like this wedding dress and that wedding dress. You become so obsessed with the act that you forget, like I said before, there's a whole husband attached to that.
Yes.
After the party, there's a guy that wants stuff.
Right.
There's a guy that wants stuff from you. And it's like, wait, the party. And it's like, party's over. You have a husband. Right. So yeah, it was different. I try to warn people though. I think those relationships, because I do believe in that whole, oh, that love thing and that forever thing. But again, I think those people are rare. Those people are rare. And there are two people who understand the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs and the ugly of it and the brokenness of it. And they're able to adjust and keep going with that partner, with that person. But I think those people are rare. I think most people bolt. Think most people bolt and they say it's just easier to get somebody now.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and before you mentioned the statistics, which you've mentioned a few times on here, about 75% of women file for divorce. I kind of knew that, not necessarily divorce, but I observed that in my life, and I've observed it watching other people's relationships. I kind of knew women were the ones that, for the most part, unless it was just some really alpha male that had a ton of girlfriends, I kind of knew women usually were the ones that broke off for I think guys, some, not all, obviously, were really kind of codependent. We like the comfort, and not necessarily, I'm not talking about like, we don't, oh, you want a mother. I'm not talking about that. But, we, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself. I like the, I like being with someone, even like with my wife. And I've mentioned many times, we've amended things, we've done all kinds of things. But one thing I know, I don't have to worry about her backstabbing me, because we went through some rough stuff, and neither one of us were backstabbing each other. We were pretty close to being divorced. I mean, we were working stuff out, but neither one of us, we had people in our ears from our works. Oh, you need to do this. You need, and she's not like that. I was like, she's not like that. And she, she knew I wasn't, she knew I wasn't gonna try to rake her over the coals, and I knew she wasn't gonna try. But that's what I like about our relationship, is the fact that I don't have to, no matter what, if later on we decide to split up, we still have that. We have that, I guess, that true love that doesn't really fade. Not the romantic love, but no matter what happens, she's going to be there if I'm, on my deathbed or whatever, that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I like. Loyalty. And like you said, just tell me, don't sell me something and do something behind my back, or just let me know what's going on. Have that trust, just a good solid relationship, I think. But most relationships, I imagine, don't quite work out like that. I mean, at least the people I know, all the people in my ear were, talking about their horrible stories.
And there are a lot of horrible stories. I like the point that you made, right? Where men, the codependent, but not in a negative way. Because trust me, there are men out there looking for mommies. There are. Like some of the list of things that I hear men want. I'm like, you want a mother? That's what your mother would do. But then there are men who are they get comfy and very comfortable in a relationship, and they're good with that.
Yeah.
Right? That's different. Yeah. I totally understand that, where it's like, I'm good here. I'm comfortable. I don't, I mean, I saw Jordan Peterson say one time, and I thought it was interesting. He said the reason why women file for divorce first is because they're first to feel unhappy, and they're always willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
Where a man, it's like, even if he's like, my wife got a little fat, I don't like it, but I'm not going anywhere just because she got a little fat. Women will be like, he got fat. We used to do things together. So women are quick to be like, no, I'm done. And it made sense when he said that. He was like, and I was like, okay. And I didn't even know that. I was like, it is true though. Women are quick to complain about something. Like, you used to. I'm sure you've heard that before. Women say that a lot. You used to. That's like death to a relationship. You used to, right?
Right.
So it was interesting that he said that, and I was like, that's why there's so many divorces filed by women, because we're the first to feel unhappy and the first to do something the fuck about it, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I have to write a book on some new shit to help people, because
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're right, on target when you talk about men. We get really comfortable, and um, I think guys, I think that comfort is really important. That kind of being able to not, being able to navigate the waters, knowing what's coming up in the next day. We like that comfort, and to the detriment sometimes, because like you're saying, well, you're not very exciting. But wait, I'm out working. The lights are on, the food's on the table. We got, but another thing that young people really need to know, and I realize there is a time frame that you have to uh, have kids in. There is a window, but that you need to be able to navigate that, because before we had kids, we lived our first almost 2 years. We were in the Azores, so we were living in the Azores. We were at the coffee shops every morning, going to the islands, doing all kinds of stuff. You want to have a kid? Yeah, let's have a kid. That she got pregnant rather quickly. And then when we came back over here, the first kid, not especially when they're young, not that big a deal. You take them to the coffee shop, you take them, you go out, you do everything. Gets a little. Then you had that second. Well, we had a second and then a third. The third was one of those, we weren't planning on. But once you have two, it really changes, and your life slows down. I mean, it just you're not traveling. Like just now going to Mexico City. Once they got older, okay, finally we can go do some stuff again. You know what I mean? But it you need to be able to navigate that, because it's different when and everybody says, and it's true, I'm glad we had kids, but it does put a cramp on the things you can do. So you better just be able to hibernate your social life and put everything on hold.
I even tell people, a lot of people are like, well, human beings are supposed to have children. Sex makes children. Doesn't mean that a lot of people want sex, they don't want children, right? And they
Right.
don't realize they don't want children, but it's like, oh, I'm pregnant. Yay, let's have a kid. Again, I think those situations are also rare. I think most kids are here because people were having sex.
Yeah.
Right. My friend recently had a child. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I saw him, he had a child. And I was like, dude, like now, like we're in our freaking late 40s. He was like, oh, I just couldn't leave the planet without. That's your reason for having a child? Now you're responsible in your late 40s for a toddler, right? But that was literally his reason. I'm like, are you with the mother? And he was like, no, I'm not with the mother. And I was like, well, in your late 40s for a toddler, you're not with the mother. Like, what he was like, no, we're just, we're good friends, but she lives out here with me. And I was like, you could have kept fucking without having a child, right? So it's crazy how some people just have children because they think, well, I have reproductive organs and you're supposed to reproduce with reproductive organs. I'm totally against it. Live your life, travel, have fun, especially a couple. It puts a big strain. Children are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love my grandbabies. They're the light of my life. But they put a strain on the relationship when you guys should be building and learning each other and growing and traveling and going through things together. You add babies to that, and it puts such a strain on the relationship. And yeah, people get by. You work, I work. We raise these kids together, but it's still a strain. It's still a struggle. Now, if you're a Kardashian and you have 5 nannies per kid, it's a whole different situation. You can run around with Pete Davidson, right? But if you don't, it's hard, it's difficult. And I know there's a window, that biological clock, but I'm meeting more and more people that are like, I'm not having any children. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. Don't do it. If you even have a doubt that you shouldn't have children, don't do it. Live, travel. There's a whole globe that you can travel to and meet people. You may meet your wife in Istanbul. You don't know. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Get out, get
Yeah.
your, get out, go travel, have fun. Welcome, Brother Ish. How are you, sir?
Peace, fam. How's everybody doing?
Oh, you sound good. Damn, what
Good,
mic
good.
you on?
I went and found Luana's mic.
For real. I'm like,
No, I'm on my laptop this time. I'm not on my cell phone.
and I know you're only here because you don't watch football. You see my chat and my numbers. Nobody's here because
Right.
everybody's watching football.
No sport and play. That's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, we don't get off into sport and play.
That's interesting. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Right.
Respect.
But you know, a lot of times it's attributed more so towards gambling.
Okay, all right. Well,
You know, but you know, we also apply it in other areas as well.
okay, good. I'm sure you get a lot done. All right. So
Speaking of children, you know, I got my little 3-year-old.
I hear the squealing in the background. Oh, the joys.
And there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. I'm a single father, you know, for those who don't know. So it has its challenges, but it's a blessed work nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to you and the blessings. I'm glad I did it at a very young age. And it's funny because before I was like, oh my God, I did it so young. I was 19 and I was like, oh my God, but I was already doing my corporate shit and working my little corporate job downtown. You know what I mean? Little Latin girl working at Marshall McLennan. I was on top of the world, right? With my baby. But even still, I look back now and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I did it when I did it. Like when I did it, I was like, oh my God, 19, what am I going to do? But I was okay. And now I'm just glad I did it. Now the grandbabies could come over. I still look like this and I can still be on the beach. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I ain't got to, worry about where I'm going to leave the kid at,
And that's what I was going to say. For me, like, I remember when we were in Portugal and Erica was like, you're ready to have kids. In my mind, I'm thinking at this point, I'm 33 and I'm thinking to myself, if I'm not, I was thinking to myself, wait, I knew at 25, I didn't want to have kids. I'm like, I don't think it's going to be a time where suddenly I say, yes, I'm ready. So I was like, yes, I'm ready because I knew I was never going to be ready. Right. And so I got like you, saying you had your child at 19. For me, I had that from 20 to almost 15 years where I was traveling, I was seeing the world and things like that. But you pay for it one side or the other, because all my friends that had their kids at 20, 21, all of a sudden they're in their 40s and their kids are going to college, and I'm looking at like right now, my oldest is a junior, you know what I mean? but I mean, like you said, I mean, you don't regret it, but if you're gonna do it, I'm just telling the people out there that you're gonna have to sacrifice. Yes. Unless you're rich, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of things that maybe you like doing. Because for me, it was always traveling the world, seeing cultures, meeting people. I love it, and that's why. I mean, I've got to go to Colombia quite a few times just because part of my family's down there now, so that's nice. But like the Mexico City trip was something I've wanted to do forever, like going to the pyramids and things like that, So I'm able to start doing that again. But there was times where I was just like, God, man, I don't have an extra dollar to do anything. There was always something coming up, and it's not easy, but good things normally aren't very easy. So, the good things in life, as they say, are sometimes they're free, but they're not necessarily easy.
Right. Very, very, very true. I have friends who are like, well, I waited this long. I'm not gonna do it now. And speaking of, really quickly, Ashanti in her interview, I think she's 42 now, if I'm not mistaken. But in her interview, she was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work some more and then I'm gonna settle down and I'm gonna have some children. I'm like, honey, you're 42. Like you're gonna have like a teenager and you're gonna be like, what, 60 something? So bless her heart. I'm like, I couldn't, if I was a woman 40 anything and I had a child by then, salute to the mothers, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But hey, Brother Ish, what say you? I don't know how much you heard, but we're just kind of kicking it about Ashanti, of Gotti, Nelly, Ja Rule, relationships, shit like that. And I'm
Oh
not gonna
well.
stay long because I'm gonna curse everybody out my next stream. And I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna be here for 15 minutes since y'all wanted to go watch football. Now you only gonna watch me 15 minutes.
I've heard those tongue lashes. I'm not trying to hear Jen cursing because boy, she cursed better than Ricky Ricardo.
Whatever.
No, I would say, in relationship to Ashanti, and her having a child. I'll go backwards. I don't know if that she may not be able to at this point. Just because of the things that she may have done to not have a child in what she's put in her body, or just. I mean, she's obviously fit because she dances and the whole nine, but you never know. Like she may have to be. She might be caught into a situation where she has to adopt.
I see you, Haran. I thought you were sleeping, and you said you was coming Friday, so I didn't bother you. And now you in the chat. I thought you was asleep. Yeah, I think at this age, she's probably gonna do what a lot of these celebrities do and end up with twins. Every time I see one of these women in their 40s end up with twins, I'm like, you were doing the fertility shit.
Right.
They always pop up, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, these women that are always traveling and working. Then all of a sudden they're pregnant in their 40s. They always pop out twins. So Ashanti may pop up with some twins. I'm just like, baby girl, you 42, and she's still not ready because she says she's gonna do some more work and then she'll think about settling down. And I'm like, so what, you gonna be around 45 then? Like, hey, more power to you. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Get stretched out all kinds of ways in your 40s.
I mean, you think about Stephanie Mills and the challenges she had with her son, and she had her son later in life, and he has some health challenges. I don't know if that was attributed based upon her age, but now you're looking at her raising a special needs child at her age and still continuing on in her career. That's a lot.
That was a myth in the Latin community. I don't know how true it was because it was like a old wives' tale. But like when a woman has a child older, they're gonna come out, you know what I mean, mentally challenged or handicapped and stuff like that. But it was like it used to scare us, right, in the community. Like, I don't want to have a retarded child,
Right.
But it's something that I don't know if there's any scientific accuracy to that or whatever. But it is more dangerous when you're older. To have a child. It's a young girl sport, man. I will say that it's a young girl sport. After I gave birth, I snapped back like this. My stomach was like, it didn't even look like I had a child. But 42, it's a beating. It's a beating.
And in relationship to those that have a commentary on why I don't watch sports, I had a major injury in my knee when I was younger, so I wasn't able to play. And I got into swimming and surfing, and so I watch. When I do watch, I'm watching some of the other off-brand, non-traditional sports, of our community. So I might watch, the surfing championships. I may watch, swimming competitions. I'm very engaged in those, that kind of thing. But the traditional football, basketball, you won't see me till like the championship, the last game.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm a fake fan. Like I like I'm a fake fan. I like the championship, the World Series, the Super Bowl. I like when the stakes are really, really high and everybody's like killing each other to win.
Well,
that's what's exciting for me.
That's like for me, the World Cup coming up. I love watching international World Cup. You won't catch me watching soccer during like any other thing except maybe the championship series in different countries. I like that. But I just wanted to clear it up because we all grew up, and I did hear that older women usually have a higher chance of having the Down syndrome baby. So it's I looked it up. It says the chance of having a child affected by Down syndrome increased from about 1 in 1,250 for women who conceive at age 25 to about 1 in 100 to women who conceive after age 40.
See, the elders were right.
Yes.
Because they had us cares? Like, I don't want it. Oh my gosh, they were
So
right.
that's significant. Yeah.
Okay.
That's quite a big jump. So yeah, it wasn't a whatever you want to call it, the old wives' tale, or I don't know
Yeah.
what I don't know what the kids use today.
I gotta contact all my aunts who are still alive and be like, I'm sorry, Auntie. Well, they scared us straight when we were young. We was like, well, time to have the babies.
Yeah.
Crazy Legs, how are you, loves? I always thought Jesus was black. No,
Well, that's
He's
if you. I don't even believe in Jesus, so he can be
It's
whatever you want him to be.
Leonardo da Vinci's cousin.
Yeah, that's Buddy Christ. That's not Jesus. Buddy Christ from
Legs. He's actually an atheist, which is so freaking
yeah.
hilarious.
No, that's Buddy Christ.
Heterosexual men that says he doesn't watch. A lot of men in business don't watch sports. Actually, not every man watches sports.
I've always been into politics. I was a political science major in high school and in college, and so I've even get into watching Senate hearings and all those type of situations. I'd rather know what's going on with the world and keep those stats versus stats of guys throwing little balls and little holes or between like that.
You could do both.
You can, but I mean, like it doesn't move the earth. I mean, it's a good distraction tool. That's
what I find interesting though is Ish, who's a separatist, watches the sports with the white people. He watches the
surfers who are people of color. Let's start here.
What?
No, but tell me the championship surfers, what they look like. I'm sure you have some Polynesians in there.
Sorry, you gotta answer for that, Ish. Into the room, so I got a little noise in my background. Give me a second.
We giving Ish time to think. But let me tell you that now my favorite sport and the thing I could watch knowing is boxing. But that's big in Puerto Rican homes. Like when we're babies, our fathers are watching boxing. I tell people all the time, they think it's a joke. My dad turned our living room into a boxing gym. It was a Bronx apartment with a heavy bag in the living room, the dumbbells, the floor to ceiling mirrors. So I basically grew up in half apartment, half a gym. Like the boxing nights were a big deal in my family. That was the family time. Someone's pummeling somebody. Everybody come to the living room. So I grew up on it. I love boxing, but it's immediate results. The thing I don't like about sports is that I get bored very easily. Like I went to a Yankee game one time and I was like, why am I here?
Right,
not hitting anybody. Why am I here? So I don't like sports that take third inning, fifth inning, sixth inning. I'm like, who's hitting who?
If you want to get caught up on your reading, go to a baseball game. If you want to take a good nap, go to a baseball game.
Yeah, it was in my thing.
Yeah, and that's I think why that's why I believe that football is a far ahead of the other sports when it comes, because it's such a short season. Even though it lasts a long time, it's one game a week, and every game from about probably from about the third week on, every game starts to really be important. You're looking at the standings, but I totally get what you're saying about baseball, and I'm kind of the same way about basketball. But this year I'm locked in on basketball more than I normally am. I usually wait until football's over and then I'll migrate over to basketball because it's halfway through the season. But those long seasons, it's not, you don't have that, especially with baseball. A one loss doesn't seem like a big deal in the middle of the season. It may be a big deal, but you don't see it.
Now, why are you locked into basketball this season?
Oh, because my Pelicans are deep. the whole reason I was I pay attention to them, but I knew last year coming into this year they were going to be loaded because they have a lot of young talent, and so I think they're going to be something to. And normally, it's for basketball, it's really hard for small market teams because all the big name players are heading for like the Lakers and the big markets, because they can make more money in advertising and all that kind of stuff. The contract, it's beneficial. So it's really hard for some of the small market teams to become relevant. And it's hard, you want to spend your money. You don't want to, watch teams that are losing all the time. So I'm kind of a bandwagoner when it comes to that, but they're loaded this year.
Okay. I was just wondering. I'm like, is something special going on this season? Ish, you said you were going backwards. So what you think about the rest of it?
Ashanti, I mean, we know that she's about her coins and about her business. So, obviously she's pushing a product, and felt the need to respond. I really think that she should have just left it as is and just kept it pushing as an artist. Just, beyond the gossip, beyond, who I slept with or who I didn't sleep with and why. Like, I don't think she needed to even qualify that. I think she should have just stayed in the realm of, allowing it to be what it was. And just, I'm here and I sing and this is what I do. Like to get into the, dropping the T. This like this, a lot of the classic recording artists, have, relationships with their executives, Diana Ross and I forgot Barry Gordy. And the most you really heard her talk about it, and she has a child by this man, was "Love you, Barry." Like that was it. Like that was maybe 20 years after they were no longer together. So it's I just think that on the that she could have just left it alone versus getting off into it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Like I'm kind of getting bored with all this gossip and who's bumping who. Like everybody's doing somebody. So at a certain point, it becomes irrelevant.
Right.
In my opinion.
That's interesting. As I was saying earlier, you probably weren't watching. I was saying that Diana Ross is wow. Someone mentioned Mariah Carey and Tommy Mottola.
Right.
These Diana Ross is a superstar. Mariah Carey is a superstar. Ashanti, not so much. I don't know if anyone's gonna get mad at me, but Ashanti, not so much. So I think that Ashanti, I was saying earlier, she has to evolve or she's gonna evaporate, right? And unfortunately, what's popping now, our environment, it's all about gossip. And if you don't have a scandal attached to your name, nobody gives a damn what single you're dropping. And I mentioned that after she said what she said about her Gotti, she immediately said, well, my single is available after this interview. And I think Ashanti has to do that because she's not a Diana Ross and sure as hell ain't a Mariah Carey.
Right.
So I think it was essential, imperative that someone like Ashanti clap back at Irv Gotti, not only because just to keep her relevant in this current environment, but because that dude was saying some very, very nasty things about her. So it's not like she pulled a wild hair out of her ass. Like this dude was really saying some nasty things about her. So you think she should have still chose the high road and been like, oh, I just saying.
I mean, no, the sex tape says it all. Like, that's why I think it's cap when she says, oh, I wasn't really feeling him and all this kind of stuff. I haven't seen the complete interview, but the sex tape that she had where she's, in a SUV and she's giving him a fellatio. I mean, I'm like,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so this, like that says that, you out there doing your thing with this guy. You know what I'm saying? So don't front like you weren't, like you weren't into it or whatever. I mean, again,
wait a minute now. Hookers suck dick too. Maybe she wasn't into him, but he's the boss of the business.
Well, that's what I was about to say. That she's reaping the benefits of being the boss's girl and having all the privilege that that it offers. So but I just got the impression and hookers do suck, but the dynamic of it is that they're also traumatize women and to some degree. You know what I'm saying? So, what they do and where they do and how they do is a whole different, measure of in a different thought process.
So then, with that said, then Ashanti is more calculating than she's making herself to be, and even more calculating than a hooker. Why do I say that? Because she had a great upbringing. Clarence's parents had a very good marriage, right? So if she's out there, she's not really feeling a guy, but there's a whole video with her getting down and dirty with him and she'd had sex with him, then she's more calculating than, the innocent persona that she's given us for the past 20 years, I would think. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's the point. She did monetize her body parts for some sort of I don't know how to phrase it, but to get the privileges of being on the label and having all the attention from the label. That is a form of, I mean, it's not prostitution to that degree, but it has they're distant cousins. We'll say that. They are distant cousins. Because if you're not feeling him and you're only sleeping with him because he's the boss, then you just changed the exchange rate of what you're exchanging it for.
So so she spoke a lot about how he manipulated her, how he constantly told her she wasn't shit, and if it wasn't for Murder Inc., and he made her. And he also made her fuckable, right? He made her attractive. He gave her hit records. Like, do you think there was manipulation going on and that's why she did what she did? Or do you think it was a fair exchange? She was young. He was the boss. Do you think she was manipulated into that? Or she was just like, yo, fuck that, I'm going to get in? Because there were other women on the label. Was she like, fuck it, I'm going to get in where I fit in and I'm going to make the most out of it? Do you think she was manipulated into being his little concubine, so to speak?
Because
she knew he was.
That's the nature of the business. I mean, the business is about that type of manipulation. Everybody does it in the business, and having worked in the music industry in artist management, I saw that, it goes all the way down to the receptionist, where certain managers would want to get with certain receptionists so that they would have access to their bosses. So it's just a predatory type of mind state in that environment, because everyone looks for some form of favor and some sort of leg up in the game. And, so those dynamics are there. It's unfortunately, a byproduct of that industry, the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think she was technically manipulated. I think, and they were both young. It's not like it's like an old man kind of, scenario. Like, I just don't see it like that. I mean, they were both at a certain age where they both knew what they were doing and had their own intentions. I mean, same with Mariah Carey. Why would she be attracted to Tommy Mottola? I mean, he's a man of power and influence. Yes, he had connections to the Cosa Nostra. Yes, he was a Bronx kid. He had a whole little attitude, and he has a great swagger. I've met him. But
Mottola lives down the road. Yes, I just showed my age. This lady.
But at the end of the day, it was a money grab. She was like, okay, if I get with Tommy, then I don't have any issues with the label. I don't have to argue with any of the staff. I have all the privileges. Literally, she used to book at Sony Studios in Manhattan. Like, she had one of the studios was just the whole floor was just hers. Like, she had a recording studio, like they had, two different rooms, and she had the largest room, and you could not book that room. Like, even if she wasn't coming in, it was a standing hold on that room. So that means that every day, whether she shows up at the studio or not, there's at least $5,000 a day is being spent.
Nice score.
Right. So, like, I don't think I'm coming in the studio today. Invoice the label. You know what I mean? And Tommy's just gonna sign that check. You know what I mean? Like, she worked it. you know.
Mm. Okay, all right. How are you, Haran? I thought you were sleeping.
You didn't even say he was. You didn't even say he was going up. You ain't say shit. I'm just going through YouTube and I'm just seeing you on talking shit. I'm like, you didn't even say nothing.
Wait, damn it. You said you was coming up Friday, so I was like, I ain't gonna bother
I
him.
am coming up Friday, but you. Oh well, thank you for being considerate for one day out of the week.
Every now and then I have a
One day out of the week, I'll give you props on that. Yes, I'll commend you for that. Yes. What are we
thank you.
talking about? We talking about Ashanti.
Yes, we're talking about was it fair exchange, no robbery. We're talking about is it petty? Did she clap back because Irv Gotti started the shit? She made it sound on the interview, the Angie Martinez interview, like, hey, I was young, I was manipulated. He had me under lock and key. I wasn't really into him. It wasn't a relationship. I don't know why he's calling it a relationship. We fucked around. He had a lot of women and a wife, right? She kind of skirted around that when Angie Martinez was like, well, he was married. She was like, well, he had a lot of women. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, come on.
Look, man, I'll tell you this. As someone personally who has a background in the music industry. Look, man, the only difference between show business and prostitution is who can you contact faster. That's pretty much it.
What?
I said the only difference between show business and prostitution is who you can contact quicker. That's it.
Okay. Dare I ask you to elaborate?
Okay, well, hey, Ashanti, she's been in the game for 20 years. I think that this was a very calculated move. She's got a new album out, and kudos to her and her team for saying, "Hey, let's keep the rebuttal, on hold right now while we get this shit mastered, while we get this shit done up." We got the, airbrush prints coming in. We got the outfit from such and such, some European shit you can't, pronounce coming in that you're gonna wear. It's all theater at the end of the day. But ain't nobody in show business a victim. Okay,
Oh.
ain't nobody a victim. All right, let's just call it what it is. Especially if you've been in there for a long time. Like, look, listen, there's there's dudes sitting on other dudes' laps, for opportunities. There's women sitting on other women's laps. There's women sitting on guys' laps. There's all kinds of exchanges for people to get ahead. All right. The music industry ain't nothing but politics with a soundtrack. That's it. Okay. Favors are being made, handshakes are being happened, people are getting robbed, so on and so forth, and whatever it is. But the upside of it is that you can get to be quote unquote famous. You can get to be, the apple of whomever's eye. You can fill that dark empty hole inside of you with nothing but vanity and so on and so forth. She knew what she was doing, and she wasn't manipulated. Come on, sweetheart, you're from New York. Okay, you're from Long Island, but you're not an idiot. Let's call it what it is. You know what it was. You know how to play the game. Look at this dude.
Okay. Let me challenge that. So she
Okay.
was 20. She said 2021.
Okay.
I know Brother Ish said, it wasn't an old man and a young girl, but he was 10 years older than her. Irv Gotti was 10 years older than her. So that would make him, what, 30, 31, 32?
Mhm.
So you don't think that there is truth in, she did fear, like, okay, if I leave this label, he's going to completely ruin my career. He's going to block me from doing things, which she found out later from other labels, like, hey, and other artists, like, hey, we were trying to rock with you, but as far as we knew, you were unavailable according to Irv Gotti. Do you think that there was some manipulation when he's like, you ain't nobody without me, no one really likes how you sing, I'm the one that made you X, Y, and Z? Do you think that Do you think that's a form of manipulation where she was in her head like, damn, maybe I'm not as fly. Maybe I can't really sing. And we all know she couldn't. Maybe I can't really sing. Maybe I'm not this. Maybe I'm not that. You don't think that's a play? It's almost like watching Hustle and Flow. You don't think he kind of pimped her a bit?
No, I don't think he kind of pimped. I think he attempted to. I think he attempted to, and I think she played the mark. You know what I mean? A lot of people play possum until it's time to jump ship, until the right moment presents itself. If you go back to the interview, she specifically says when she decided to leave. Now, when she decided to leave, she already made a name for herself, kinda. She was able to get into the studio with Dr. Dre. She was able to get enough clout to say, all right, I can step out of this particular situation. If he tries to bury me, I still have something. It's not like I'm some just, you know what I mean, some chick who ghost wrote on a particular record and he can just bury me and act like nothing ever happened and nobody and everybody will forget about me. Like, no, she had some hits under her belt. She done wrote for J Lo. She had her own shit popping. I mean, call it what you want. Yeah, she can't sing, but Ashanti was that thing for them little ghetto girls back in the days. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, she had her little moment. You know what I mean? And when she was able to really put herself in a position to jump ship, she was smart enough to really know when to strike. That's not a dumb girl. You know what I mean? She tried to present the story as if she was this naive, you know what I mean, chick from Long Island who got taken advantage of.
So
You
you
know what I'm
saw
saying? I
the,
mean, what's up?
I said, so you saw the interview.
Oh yeah, I saw it. You know, what I mean, I saw it. She was trying to, she ran. She knew how to play the narrative, man. You know what I mean? And she was coach. Jen, I know it when I see it. You know what I mean? I know it when I see it. She was coach. She was saying the right things. Possibly a number of things were edited out. Let's keep that in mind too. You know what I mean? So she knew how to play it. Let's be real with each other. You know what I mean? Look at Irv and look at her. Okay, she probably said to herself, she said, you know what? No, let's keep it real. Ish. I mean, she probably said, you know what? Let me just pick this fat motherfucker and make him think here that, you know what I mean? He's doing some shit, and let me get the fuck out of here when the time is right. Because guess what? Only one of them's really from the hood. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Irv is from the burbs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's some dude playing Gotti, whatever. She's
You know,
actually from
like what I say about them guys that they move their head more than their pelvis when they fucking.
exactly. So he Irv. I think in a lot of ways, Irv. The problem with Irv is that I don't think the records for him was enough. The accomplishments were enough. The place in history was enough. I think there's still that trauma that he didn't, you know what I mean, deal with. Because I think, personally, I think he was in love. I think he was very much in love. The way she spun it and seeing her body language, there was a moment when she tried to explain it in a very, diplomatic way, but I
Yes,
can
she was
see the
like,
disgust.
right.
I
Wasn't she
can see the
like,
disgust
everybody, we messed
in her
up right now.
face. Yeah, like I can see the disgust in her face. Like she got a flashback of this nigga sweating on her. And you know what I mean? It was one of the things where it was just like, yeah, she was clearly not in love. This was clearly a one-sided situation. Because if a woman is in love, a woman will immediately admit it. She'll be like, yes, I was in love with that man. You know what I mean? They'll drive that shit home to make it sound even worse. You know what I mean? Be like, yeah, I was head over heels over this dude, and he was a fuck dude. But she was like, and if you notice during the interview too, Angie was like, yeah, because y'all was in a relationship, and she immediately cut
Yeah.
Angie and said, we were not in a relationship.
No, we weren't. She was like, it was
You
a
know what I
never
mean?
relationship. He had a lot of women.
Right. So it's kind of like I think personally, I think Ashanti pimped him.
Well, that's
I
different.
think Ash- I think Ashanti pimped
Yeah,
him. Because if you really think about it, at the end of the day, who really has the career right now?
Did you
Who's really
hear
got
him
his?
say that he signed a new $300 million deal with someone? Did I hear correctly?
Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
always signs a new
yeah.
$300 million deal with somebody, or all these washed up niggas. You know what I mean? Everybody signed a new, sneaker deal. Whatever. I mean, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean with Irv,
Does
but there's
anybody know the
something.
details of that deal? Who that was with? Does
It
anybody
was some
know?
No
foreign
clue.
situation, I think. I got to look at it again, but I mean, I think he referenced it was some sort of um, it was the non-traditional deal, in comparison to um, like he didn't sign a deal with Sony or something like that.
Vitamin water.
It's like one of those like investment firms, or one of those type of situations.
Okay. All right. So that's okay. Going back to Haran and Ish are like, nah, little hooker knew what she was doing. Here's what, but let me tell you this: for the average viewer, she hit a home run, because the average viewer is an idiot. I'm sorry. People that are into these celebrities and celebrity worship, like we're seeing it happen with Kanye. Like Kanye could do no wrong, right? Celebrity worshipers are real different from fans. Like, I'm a fan of your music, I'm a fan of your films. They're different from these worshipers. So in that category, she hit it out the park. But me looking at her, when she got to the part, and Angie was real nice about it. But when she threw out the wife thing, she let Ashanti skate around that. I wouldn't have.
Yes, she did.
Interviewing her, I wouldn't have. Did you or did you not know that this man had a wife? When you laid with him, forget he had a bunch of girlfriends. I'm talking about you. Did you not feel a way that he was still married to this woman? And she let her skate around it. They even changed the subject and didn't go back to it. That's how slick she was with her shit. They changed the subject and didn't even go back to it. No, Ashanti, did you sleep with a married man? The reason why they danced around that is because when you solidify, you slept with a married man, then all hell breaks loose on the internet. She's a homewrecker. She like Alicia Keys. She fucked a married man, but she didn't land there because that was the girl. She was helping him.
Of course. I mean, again, yes, absolutely. It's all a part of. Look, this is all theater. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't think Drink Champs was theater. I think Irv had a couple up in him, and he just got the fucking yapping and being sloppy. But I believe,
So it was 10 times worse. That Drink Champs interview was edited
right.
like times. So it was a lot worse. Ugh,
Right. So, Irv, I just think he just got sloppy. Her situation, I think that it was very calculated. It was very, well put together. She gave us some softball questions. She, Angie guided her into the right kind of responses and so on and so forth. That interview really, that was just really promo for her shit. That wasn't really an interview. It was just promo for her shit. So like I'm saying, the girl's not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of times, see, this is the problem. A lot of times, especially in the music industry, you know what I mean? And, look, in the music industry, the modeling world, in the acting world, a lot of men just get this assumption that all women are idiots. You know what I mean? They get this assumption that all these women, the only thing that they can do is actually maybe their particular talent. They have no actual intellectual prowess. No, there's women out here who are actually saying, okay, you know what? Let me just play the game. The same shit with how Harvey Weinstein. Them white women knew what they was doing. You know what I mean? But once the time came for him to no longer be an asset to the machine, all of a sudden the quote unquote truth leaps out. No, come on, everybody knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? The man was in the industry for decades. He had a plethora of hits under his belt. He was quote unquote referred to as God at one point in time. You know what I mean? Oh nah, this is real shit.
I think with Harvey Weinstein, the two factors were he was very abrasive and very unattractive. But had, let's say, somebody like Jason Momoa, Dwayne The Rock Johnson been in the same exact position, coming on to women like that, I think it would have been a different outcome. But Harvey Weinstein, he was like a pig.
Ain't no thing. I mean, like my boy's aunt said, It ain't harassment if it's Denzel. You know what I mean? She said,
we're heading into the deep part of the pool, fellas.
you know, I'm just saying what this grown woman said. You know what I mean? So, and I was attaching it to your point. You know what I mean? So, no, of course not. You know what I mean? If that was the case, then guess what? That would be Nia Long's husband. Excuse me, Nia Long's boyfriend. You know what I mean? A handsome gentleman who had his hand in the cookie jar every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? He just so happens he picked a very mid-white woman. But anyway, that's besides the point. You know what I mean? That's besides the point. But the point here that I'm making overall is that I never thought Ashanti was stupid. Never in my life. I think that Ashanti knew how to play the game. Do I think that Ashanti is this amazing talent? No, but a lot of times you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could just have a very likable personality. I mean, she looks absolutely amazing at, I believe, 41, 42, something. She's somewhere in her 40s. You
Yes,
know what I
she's
mean?
40.
She looks absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? She could very well, have another 5 year run right now. You know what I mean? And as for Irv, I mean, he's gonna always look. She she was very successful with the help of Angie Martinez into turning this black man who helped it happen into a bitter, old, and lonely, washed up soul. That
Yeah.
that is his legacy now. And it is what it
Great
is. And
job. She did a great job
he
because
did an amazing job.
she looks youthful. She looks pretty. She's on set in Canada. That was another thing,
Hmm.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah, right, right, right.
Just to show you, it was very well orchestrated. You're absolutely right. I'm doing this thing right now. I'll give you a few minutes, but I'm on set of a big film.
Hmm.
So
Well, you
she
didn't have to mention that.
right, right. And we have the drunk ogre in the smoky room talking about, yeah, she left me. She
with the
left
with the with the remedial reading host. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the gang of GED dropouts. You know what I mean? It's just a
well lit room with
it's
candle
just a
burning.
exactly.
There was a candle.
I mean, it was just a different setup. It was different. So it's like one. It's two girlfriends laughing it up in a high end restaurant, and
Yep,
another one it's just a bunch of niggas in a dive. You know
yep.
what I
But
mean? Just finished playing ball.
I would say that Ashanti's whole situation, is a well-oiled machine. I mean, she's got a solid unit behind her.
She really does. She really does, man. And it's really about the team, man. She got a really smart team behind her. You know what I mean? Whoever really put that together and orchestrated that, you know what I mean? And she's been in the game for what, 20 years now? She's
Yeah.
a pro now. She knows what to answer, how to answer it. You know what I mean? Dance around issues and so on and so forth. Jen, I'll also say this though. I'm not gonna be totally specific right now, but Irv also slept with someone else in that particular, situation, someone who was close to Ashanti. And I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, yeah. So, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I heard that rumor
The,
too. I heard that.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, oh no, it was really heavy in the industry. You know what I mean? That allegedly that happened. Oh, they did whatever they needed to do to keep him satiated, to keep him, feeling like, he was in control.
Her mama was all up in them music videos too, thinking she was
Yes, she
cute.
was. She was. She was. She was.
They want to keep that nice house they got out there in Long Island.
And that's what it look, man. Look, man. It's like I said. What did I say to you before? The only difference between show business and prostitution is who can you get to call on the phone first, man. That's just it, man. Who
Haram.
can you get to first, man? And that's it.
All right, so then that goes back to what the fuck I said about relationships that people are ignoring. Women want money and security, men want ass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, I mean, but I mean, we got to sell Hallmark cards, right? You know what I mean? We got to, I mean, hey,
Diamonds.
I mean, Valentine's Day is one of the most lucrative days in, I mean, in the world. And I believe it's a little behind Mother's Day, something like that.
Jeez, I'm surprised it's behind Mother's Day. Surprised.
Yeah, I have to check the stats on that though. But yeah, it's one of the most important days. Father's Day is like that shit is behind. I'm not even sure.
So y'all are not. I'm sure Father's Day is behind like National Pet Day or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably
like behind Arbor Day.
Pretty much, right? Like Parent Teacher Day or some shit like that.
Right.
It's like
Flag Day, you know.
We appreciate the daddies. We appreciate the daddies. So, all right, guys, I'm shocked that all right, no, y'all not letting Ashanti off the hook with this one.
Not at all.
She knows what she's doing, man. I mean, because I mean, obviously, I mean, if she comes from that world, I come from that world, so what happens. Ain't nobody getting quote unquote robbed half the time. No, when the story's over, motherfuckers either mad or they not. You know what I mean? And usually they mad when they broke. You know what I mean? And that's when it's the I was robbed, I was young, I was naive, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. When folks is out here living, and got beautiful skin and they 40-something years old and they still look 20, yeah, she's smiling. She ain't got a care in the motherfucking world. You know what I mean? She's good.
Look
man.
at Memphis Bleak. Memphis Bleak is not complaining, but
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure Jay took care of him.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Jay took care of him.
Mace is mad as fuck. He's still young.
He's mad, but his positioning is that I got out. I was not a victim. I saw what it was going on in here. I wrote a few rhymes, and then you know what? I'm not gonna be a sucker like these other cats who died broke. Like, and that I have to respect him on that. Yeah, he did. Kind of bolt early. Did one record, and it's like,
Well, Jen, you know my stance on that. I just think that thing between him and Puff is a lover's quarrel, allegedly.
They still mad like baby mama and baby daddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It gives baby mama and baby daddy vibes every time I hear them, talk about each other. You know what I mean? In certain tones, or like grown men don't speak about each other like that. You know what I mean? And hold on to things like that. It's just, you know what I mean? And recently though, I believe I think Mace did business with a particular artist, or he signed them, and the artist basically gave away his publishing or a very large percentage of himself over to Mace for only $5,000. Now,
what he did a 360 deal?
I have no clue, but he did something or other. Maybe I can find. He was on. Oh man, I forgot the name of the podcast, but he was on one of those particular hood podcasts. They all the fucking same after a while.
They are.
But he was on one of he was on one of them, and he was basically saying something to the effect of Mace got me for $5,000, and brothers was looking at him like $5,000, like
right.
You know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean? And Mace didn't deny it. Mace got him for $5,000, and he got a piece of him, and I guess he learned from the best.
Okay,
right.
so
and that's the unfortunate dynamic.
Last question on this, so I can get out of here.
What's up?
This is the last question. So you don't think that at all when he was telling her, you ain't shit, no one's gonna want you, we made you fuckable, we made you Ashanti, you can't sing, blah blah, you don't think that played a role in her esteem or her future, or do you think she used it as fuel, like, okay, motherfucker, I'm gonna use you now since I'm not?
I believe she used it as fuel. I
Okay.
believe she used it as fuel because let me tell you something. I know a broken woman when I see one, and that's not a broken woman.
Okay. And she did say, "Well, make another me." Where's she at?
And that's just it. And that's it. That's a very confident, beautiful woman. She ain't she wasn't caring. You know what I mean? Now I will say this. I remember one time before I was watching an interview of Mary J. Blige, and she was talking about how she was treated, and I could tell by the look in her eyes, like, yeah, Mary's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Mary's just always kind of had that aura about her.
Yeah,
You know
always.
what I mean?
Mhm,
Not
You
mhm.
know what I
used
mean?
though.
Yeah. So she's always had that aura about her where I mean, she seems better now, but for so long, she's had that aura of just being broken. And you can see it in the interviews. You can see it. Like Ashanti is not fucked up. I'm pretty sure he said all those things. I'm pretty sure he said all those horrible
Me
things to
too.
her,
Me too. Mhm.
and
He's still
she
saying them.
just
He's still saying them.
yeah,
He said it
and
back
she just probably shrugged it off like, okay, all right, you know what I mean? I got something for you,
then.
and that's it, man. And she probably, you know what I mean? Maybe she made sure that he saw her on stage with Nelly. I don't know, you know what I
She sure did. Brother Ish, no Saint. I don't know if No Saint went back to his football.
I'm here. I'm here. Yes, and I'm watching it. I am watching it, but yes, I'm here.
Yeah, because we're leaving shortly. What do you think? It had no effect on her whatsoever. She knew what she was doing.
As far as
Like
yeah,
when
yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
when Ja Rule was telling her, kind of like the "you'll never work in this town again. No one likes how you sing. We made you." Do you think that destroyed any form of her self-esteem, or she used it as fuel? Like, I'm going to use you. I don't care what you think of me.
Well, I mean, so you're gonna have to definitely catch me up as far as like what has her career continued?
Yes.
Okay, so then it might have bothered her, but I mean, I don't think it is. If she's still got a career going, that's probably in the rearview mirror. But I'm sure anybody telling you that you suck, um, and you can't sing, and that's your main source of income. I mean, that's gotta hurt. But I'm sure she's over it by this point.
I agree. That's fair. I agree. I'm sure it jabbed her like, damn, I can't sing. But a lot of people were saying Ashanti can't sing, if you recall, Haran.
I mean,
Oh
but
yeah, I
really,
mean she
but
can't. She
who needs
cannot.
to? But really, who needs to? Who? There's plenty of people that can't sing. That I mean, arguably, I'd say Janet Jackson's not a great singer. She's a
No,
great
No, she's not.
entertainer. She's
neither
a
is
great
She can
entertainer.
dance.
yeah, it's not fair.
Madonna isn't a great singer.
Right.
Madonna
Exactly.
Madonna just had some great fucking records though. She knew how to make some great pop songs that still stand the test of time. Sometimes it's not really about if you know how to be a great singer, if you know how to make a great song. You know what I mean? Because there's a
Exactly.
lot of singers who are amazing, but their music sucks, like Johnny Gill. Like Johnny Gill is an amazing singer, but he got like maybe two records I actually like.
I
You
hate
know
that
what I
man's
mean?
voice, and I know
But
I'm on the ad.
really?
I loathe his voice. I don't like people. I don't like any. I'm telling people hate. Like, I don't like Aretha Franklin's voice. I don't like
Oh Jesus.
Fantasia's voice.
You don't like who?
I don't like Aretha Franklin, Fantasia, Johnny Gill, any singer that's constantly yelling at me.
Oh,
Patty LaBelle.
oh, so you
But Patti LaBelle, she does melody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like
she
Patty
knows how
LaBelle.
to
I'm
do
just
it.
saying,
Now,
she's a
Patty
yeller.
knows how to. Well,
Um,
Patty knows how to yell, but she knows how to bring it down. Though she don't yell a
I like
lot.
those. Like, I don't yell. I like my music in melody. I like
Oh, so
melody.
you don't. Oh, so you don't like Aaron Hall?
No, I don't like him either. Anybody who
What?
sounds like they're fucking yelling at me. I have a thing. I want to be able to cook and clean and vibe and listen
Right.
to music. I don't want to hear. I don't
Right.
need the roof blown off. I don't need the roof blown off
The
the.
mother sucker, the boo blown off the mother sucker.
I don't like that yelling shit. Do not put on your red dress. No, I'm not gonna put on the red dress. No, don't yell at me. There's not gonna
So
be.
you don't like Teddy Pendergrass either, then, huh?
Yeah, but I knew somebody was gonna say Teddy, but there was something about Teddy that was different.
How about
I
Michael
bet you
Bolton?
was. I bet you was. You smiled like a motherfucker when he said Teddy
Yeah,
Pendergrass.
Teddy
So
was Teddy was Teddy was different, but he does. You're absolutely right. He falls in that category for me. I
well,
don't
not really Teddy per se, because he kind
right.
of builds to the yelling. He builds to the yelling. There's a difference between
Yeah.
building to the yelling and you just come in hot, like boom, like Aaron Hall comes in. It'll be like a slow song and Aaron Hall is yelling. Song slow as hell, and he just yelling already. It was like,
That's
damn,
how I judge. That's how I judge my singers. Can I listen to an entire album and not be irritated? I don't know who buys Fantasia shit. I don't know who could listen to that woman for 60 minutes. I could not. It would drive me up a wall.
I don't like the timbre of Fantasia's voice.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
a
like the
Fantasia fan
timbre.
either.
I don't like
There's
the
one
timbre.
song. There's one song that I like. It's very, very poppy, and she's not yelling. You know, after some about when you picture on my mirror. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
You
talking
know
about.
that song. I could do that one. She's singing normal. Just sing them. Don't yell at me. That's not
So
my
what
voice.
about Christina Aguilera? What about her?
Oh, she's amazing. What? That girl has like 55 octaves. She's a fucking amazing.
Right.
Ariana Grande's amazing. Like they're vocalists.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
don't like the church voice. I don't like that voice.
Oh, got you.
I was a huge growing up. I was a huge Anita Baker fan.
Anita
She's
Baker
amazing.
too. She has that.
Anita Baker's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
liked
amazing.
Anita Baker. My dad liked Anita Baker very much. He liked the deep, raspy, with all my heart. It was still soothing. Anita Baker was
Yeah.
like, I love you, baby. Like it was still, you know what I mean? Don't yell at me. Okay. I don't like those yelling singers. So I'm not into the Fantasias, the Aretha Franklins, the Johnny Gills, the Aaron Halls. Like I don't like those voices. I don't like
I'm
those.
I'm a big Prince fan.
Oh, Prince was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Prince was awesome.
yes. Okay, Hiran, I got a test for you. What is
Wait,
your favorite Prince
let's
movie?
finish the Ashanti thing and kick it till we leave because we leaving.
All right, what's up? Who am I answering right now?
No, Ish is answering. So you don't think she was manipulated or made to feel bad at all? You don't think it affected her as a woman hearing these things from this ogre that she'll crack her legs to?
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Oh no,
you.
of course
Yes,
not. She was a New York hustler. She was
Of course
that was their hustle.
She
Like,
didn't
that
from Boroughs. She's from Long Island.
And that's where all the mafia is. They're either in Staten Island or in Long Island or Jersey. So ultimately, she was, it was just a hustle. I mean, they found their lane and they let it work.
Something. I almost got out of here without dragging one of you bitches. Bitch, Gloria Miller, if you don't like me or what I'm talking about, bitch, go run in traffic, bitch. I'm tired of y'all fucking being in my chat. If you don't like what I'm saying about your people, our people, their people, bitch, go run in traffic. Pendeja, sucia, malcriada. You were saying it?
The arguments I used to have with my ex. I'm like, yo.
I hate these funky bitches. Like, I hate these funky bitches. Get off my dick, bitch. Yes, I'm Puerto Rican. I talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Pendeja. I'm going to block your funky ass, you fucking hoe. Blocked, hoe. You were saying it.
Yes. So, Shanti, was just, it was a hustle. Like.
Did you watch the interview? Did you not see it look like her feelings were hurt and he threatened them with bodily harm and said, if you work with Dre, I want 90% and you're never going to work in this town again and you can't sing.
She did not look hurt. She did not look hurt.
How many movies and TV shows has she been in? She has gone to acting class, and she
did not look hurt.
Media
she looked like
training.
She had nigga please on her face. She had nigga please on her face a few times when she was telling that story about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
She had nigga please all written all over her
Trying to
face.
get some sympathy for Ashanti. Y'all not fold. Y'all not bending.
No.
Nah, sympathy for what? I mean, she's gorgeous. She clearly got money. She gonna drop a new record. She gonna be all right. You should,
Yeah, she's all right. I
you
mean,
should check
she's
up on Irv. You should be doing that shit. You,
right.
Irv got some real problems right now,
But
man.
you know what is very interesting? Irv was walking around the BET Awards, the most recent one, during the media junket the day before, and it was he was walking around, and nobody was really eager to talk to him.
Really?
Like
I
the
keep
room
telling
was
you.
full of probably about maybe 60 different media agencies, and you know BET, they have the handlers that are walking people around to make sure that they're promoting the award show as it's coming up. And it was just interesting to observe Irv just kind of walking around like anonymously. Like no one was like, oh, there goes Irv. There was no.
You know why that is, right? You know why that is, though, because it's business as usual. Ashanti still looks youthful. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she's very well liked. She's still
Mm-hmm.
working. Irv now, it's true what Ashanti said in the interview. Now she basically said, we've always known how he is. Now the world knows.
Right.
Boy, she threw that stamp on him, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
everybody's turned off to this ogre who talked about this woman like she was dirt. Like he talked about her like she was dirt, and Ashanti is loved. So she made sure to drive that home. Like now the world knows who he is. So when you're looking at it from a business point of view, who can make me money if I'm an executive at BET? I don't give a damn about Irv Gotti. What is Ashanti doing this week? And I think that's what's going to happen to him as he moves forward. It's like, do we need Irv Gotti for anything? It's going to be that type of conversation. If we don't, he sure as hell ain't a Diddy. He sure as hell ain't a Dr. Dre. He sure as hell ain't a Jay-Z. So he's going to be ostracized. After a while, they're going to be like, oh, there goes Irv again. He just walked in.
See, the problem here with Irv is that guys like Irvin, I've seen it a million times. They outsmart themselves because they can be smart guys. He's obviously somewhat of a smart guy, but he's not as smart as he thinks he is. You see, because if he really was, he would have before he actually really thought about fixing his, what I mean, his his rocky road infested mouth. What I mean, with talking about this woman in a sloppy fashion, he would have checked the temperature of the climate.
Mm.
You can't just be coming after a woman's neck in today's climate. What I mean, even if she is in the wrong and you're in the right, because at the end of the
Ooh.
day, what happens is that you're still a guy talking crazy about a woman, and it can get flipped and spinned, and you can look like a dude that's bitter and angry. Now, if he was smart, he could have sat there and used that platform with his documentary to actually constantly big up Ashanti and talk about how she was just a great, asset to the company, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Bring up some great times, some laughable situations. Make yourself likable so you can be relevant. You don't look you're not relevant right now because what I mean? You're out of shape. You're old looking. You know what I mean? You sound like a washed up New Yorker. You know what I mean? You just got so many fucking red flags popping up all over the place when it comes around you. Nobody wants to fuck around with that. She looks great. She looks young. And she looks one thing that really puts her over the top, completely and absolutely unbothered. When a motherfucker looks unbothered and people can feel that energy off that person, you won, man. In this day and age, you
That
won.
peep game. Now that you say that, something came to mind when you was like, she was coached and told to say certain things. She made sure to say, why would Irv Gotti in this environment, right, where women are being very protected, Why would he blow me up on a screen and say, yeah, I was looking, this Ashanti saying, I was looking at her ass in them little jogging pants, and I was looking at her ass, and she was like, why would he say that in our current environment of what's going on? So she made sure to put him out
To
there.
make him look like a predator.
Exactly. And I was like, ooh, that was game. That was peak
Yeah,
game.
it was
Game.
see, Jen. See, this is what I'm saying. They knew what they was doing with that interview.
I mean, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her because he talked very
You know?
disgustingly about her. So I'm not. She did what she had to do.
No, very well orchestrated, very well lit. She looked great. Look, it was a homer. It was a home run. As for him, his biggest issue is that he's no longer relevant. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, he's looking,
That's the issue.
he's and him and Diddy, they kind of acting like the old niggas in the club right now. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of, you know what I mean? Like I remember Diddy, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, he was trying to tell this story about how he grew up poor and he had like 12 roaches on his face. Like, come on, son. Like, you counted 12 roaches on your face?
That recent video where Diddy was dancing on stage, I was just,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was. I mean, you could hear the arthritis in his knees while he was trying to dance, and it was just like, this just ain't it. And my thing is like this. My thing is like this. This is the problem that I have with a lot of people our age. They're not growing older gracefully, man.
right.
You know what I mean? You got Genuine out there looking crazy.
Oh
You
my
got
God.
Irv out there looking crazy. You got Diddy out there looking crazy. You know what I mean? At least Jay just shuts the fuck up and stands next to Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know when to like
And Jay still drops
gracefully.
heat though. Jay drops heat.
Yo, and it's you gotta know how to handle yourself. Like, Janet Jackson is she's enjoying her legacy status, she's her auntie status. She's not trying to, what I mean, be anything more than what she is. She drops in with an IG photo here and there.
Yeah,
Like,
not
people gotta
everybody can.
know how to actually.
Not everybody can
Go ahead.
pull off what Snoop Dogg pulls off.
No, and that's just it. You know what I mean? Snoop Dogg, I think he'll forever be the cool uncle. That guy,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's
He
it.
is
And that's
that.
great.
He is
And
that.
that's it. And that's it.
But then nobody's checking for Snoop's music though. That's the only thing.
Oh, nah.
Snoop has done.
Because
Yeah, he said that too.
Snoop knew how to transition into being a personality. You know what I mean?
You know
He knew
who
how to do
helped
that.
him, who helped Snoop a lot, from what I understand,
Ice Cube.
hearing it from the
Martha Stewart?
horse's mouth, was Russell Simmons helped Snoop kind of coalesce his business together.
Are you serious? I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Well, he turned
Yeah.
into a complete clown though. He's like a caricature to me now, Snoop Dogg.
Oh, he's an absolute caricature.
He's
You
a
know, a well paid caricature, but a
Absolutely.
caricature
Hey,
nonetheless.
Clowns make money too.
Nonetheless. Oh, yes, they do. You know, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But yes, again, Ashanti did a wonderful job in promoting her new project. You know what I mean? She played the game. She played it very well. Irv, I think that he destroyed his own legacy. With that interview, I believe that they buried him.
Yeah.
But with his $300 million deal, with this marketing company and this licensing company, he's looking to create and generate some content. He wants to do what 50 Cent is doing. I don't know if he can or he can't, but with 300 million, you can figure it out.
With the same kind of style of shows, hood shows.
I don't know. I wouldn't say the same style, but I think that's probably, he can't go any further.
Right. That's what Irv Gotti's going to come with. He's going to try to put out them hood programs, and I don't know. I don't see it. I think he's corny. He hasn't really lived a lifestyle. So unless he surrounds himself with writers and people that really down in that, I don't see it happening for him. He's a cornball. So I personally,
when it comes to these hood, Personally, I don't like any of the Power iterations. I showed up for the very first one,
Right.
and I shut that shit off in 20 minutes. I was like, "What the fuck is this horrible acting?" You know what I mean? The only show that I enjoy and that I think is absolutely brilliant is Snowfall. You know what I
Oh,
mean? It
amazing.
definitely, it definitely. I was a little nervous as to what it would have been when John passed. You know what I mean? Because John is just a visionary, so I didn't know if they would have been able to really, carry on the show at such a brilliant level. But they did. They surpassed even what I mean, seasons prior, and the final season is showing up. You know what I mean? Next season is going to be the final season. That's
I I think that John just assembled a good team. I think the first two episodes were a little wonky to
Mhm.
start off, but right after that, I think they figured out what they needed to do, and they got it, their team together. You know, I don't
I,
know.
I can attest
I
to
know
that.
that whatchamacallit is still mad at him. Freeway Rick is. It feels like they stole the story.
Whatever.
Well, sure. I'm pretty sure he got a check. Like I said, everybody's mad until they get paid. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's code word for I need a check. You know,
It's like, hello.
that's cold.
They
Yeah,
open the
that's all that
bag.
is, man. That's all that is. That's cold. That's
All right, guys, we are out of here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Fuck football, man. I checked
Well,
right up
let
because
me add. I just want to add what Big Truck would have said if he was in there tonight, and he would have said, if we were in a country where women had no rights, she wouldn't have been able to leave. It would have been a better place.
that's exactly what he would have said. He would have been yelling.
Yes, yes.
at the
I got
top of
kids. I
his
can't yell.
fucking lungs. At the top of his lungs, he would have been
Yo,
yelling.
that shit's funny. All right, guys. So we're out of here. Good night. I will
Good
see you
night.
tomorrow. Fridays is a fun night. We'll throw some freaky shit in there, something funny. I may have something really, really funny for y'all tomorrow. But you gotta
Okay.
show up. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Okay, guys, if you are still in the room, please hit that like and subscribe. And you're catching the replay. See you mañana. Okay? Thanks for watching. Arrivederci. Ciao. Au revoir.